Let us now discuss how the constructors behave in inheritance. So, so the basic concept is that if I'm having a class A and another class B, and this B class is inheriting all the properties of this class A, then all the variables that are initialized using constructor in A class has to be initialized by the B class using the constructor. So how this is done, let us see. I'm having two variables in my class A, I and J. I'm also defining a default constructor A where the value of I and J are initialized to 0. Then I'm having a constructor A where the value of I and J are initialized using len variable. Then I'm having a constructor A where two values are defined by the user and the values are initialized to I and J. Then I'm having a method area where I'm returning the value of this I and J to whosoever is calling it. Then in my class B, I am inheriting the variables and methods of my class A. I have created a default constructor where these two lines are written. Now see, all the constructors that you have defined in the parent class has to be redefined in the child class. So if you first constructor was a default constructor, second constructor was having a parameter of len, and the third constructor was having two parameters x and y. Similarly in class B, I am defining three constructors. First is a default one, second is accepting some values, and the third one is also accepting some values. Now let us check it out how it works. So when my B constructor is defined, we can see that first I have called this super method. So what this super method does is it first assigns the value of all the values in my parent constructor, and then it initializes its own value k equals to 0. Similarly, in the B constructor, I have initialized two variables where the first parameter in length has been passed to the super method, which is used to define the values of my parent constructor taking a parameter as len. So len is passed to the super method, which is internally passed to my parent constructor, and my I and j values are initialized to len. Now my k values initialized to side. Similarly, if I'm having another constructor B, it takes x and y, the values that has to be assigned to my A class, and z that it is being assigned to the values of the B class. So if I say that super xy, it will check that two arguments are being passed of both integer type. It will go to the constructor that has the same parameters and will define the value of I and j. For k equals to z will be defined a value for k equals to z, I have to say integer k over here. So basically z is assigned to my variable k. My B class is also having a volume method where we are returning the values of I, j and k. Now let us see my main method. In my main method, I have seen that I have created three objects B1, B2 and B3. In my B1 object, I am calling a default constructor. So this constructor will be called, which will first call this constructor. The values of I and j will be initialized to 0, and then the value of k will be initialized. Now my B2 constructor is calling some constructor that take two arguments. So if I see my B class having two arguments, such a constructor is defined over here. So this constructor will first call the constructor of A class using the first parameter len, and then the second parameter will be used to assign the values of the B class. Similarly, my B3 object is calling a constructor that takes three arguments, all three of integer data type. So this constructor will be called, where the two values will be assigned to the constructor of A class using the super keyword, and the last value will be defined to its own variable, that is A. Now let us see some print statements. We can say here that using my object B2, my method volume is being called. So my B2 is initializing the value of 10 to I and j and 20 to my k. So the result that I'm getting is 2000. If using the object B3, I'm calling this method volume, then the output will be 500 because I is initialized to 5, j is initialized to 10 and k is initialized to 10 over here. We have just seen that the super keyword was used to call the constructors of the parent class. Another use of super keyword is for name hiding. Let us see how. Let's suppose I'm having a class A where two variables are defined I and j, and using the constructor of A class, I'm initializing the value of I as x. Similarly, in class B, that is inheriting my class A, is all the variables and methods, I'm initializing a variable I, and using the constructor, I'm initializing the value of I for both my parent class using the super keyword and for itself directly using the argument passed in the constructor. So basically, this is the concept of name hiding, where I'm using my super keyword over the value of I of my own class. Now I'm also using a method display in my class B, where I'm printing the values of both the I. First I belongs to my parent class and the second is my own class I. So now in my main method, if I can see, I'm having an object B where I'm initializing the values of I as 10 and 20. The value of 10 will be initialized to the variable I of my parent class using the super keyword, and the value 20 will be initialized to my variable I of my B class. Now when I call the function b.display, it prints two values. First value will be printed as the value of I of class A is super.I. Now, since my I belongs to my parent class, I have used super keyword, and second value that will be printed as the value of I of class B is I. Now to basically differentiate between both the variables that have same name, I am using the super keyword to tell that the I variable that is called using the super keyword belongs to my parent class, and the I that is written as such is belonging to my own class. This is how the concept of name hiding is implemented using super keyword.